Okay, we are live, so whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, wait. You do have you have to look at the non-Hangouts chat.
Okay.
All right. That's where all the titles are.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Paul, you got your links that you or the stories that you showed us earlier. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Three, two, one. Let's go. Hello, Internet. I missed you last week, but we're back doing inThirty, the tech podcast. Get to us at inThirty.net and the newly renewed in30.co for $30. That all goes to the country of Colombia. Again, if you want to save some characters. All right. With me is Haim Cohen of HaimTime.com
Hello.
and Paul N. Shapiro of PaulNShapiro.com.
Actually, I rebranded searchwilderness.com.
Paul N. Shapiro of SearchWilderness.com. Seeing the forest for the SEO trees. All
Something like
right,
that.
Paul. We'll take a look at your site later. It strikes me that the personal URL is a good deal more important than a phone number. Maybe more important than a phone number ever was. Okay, so in the lull of summer, the tech news cycle seems to have slowed down some. So instead of having a big, huge story to throw at you, we're going to go through a handful of little ones. Hi, time. You're going to be keeping score this round.
Sure, I'll keep score.
All
I
right.
just wanted to say that I do apologize for not being live last week. We did put out 2 shows the week before, but just think of it this way. Do you want us to babble on a half hour on nonsense?
Yes.
Or do you want us, if we don't have any news and we're busy and everything else, to take a much-deserved break and come back fresh and apparently with no news this week?
A much-deserved break, Paul. Is that how you feel? Do you feel that we put in enough time and energy into inThirty that we deserved a break last week? Is that what it was?
I can use all the breaks I can get.
Okay. Paul will take the Paul searchwilderness.com will take all the, that's a good logo. Searchwilderness.com, all of the breaks that I can get. Okay. Haim, are you going to start us off? Do you have some stories that are a little bit more than a pittance of importance, right?
Well, all mine are recent wireless cell phone carrier developments, and that's so. Let's start. I'll just read them all first, and then we'll pick either the one we want to talk about first or what we want to do. So we've all
Sell
seen.
out some cell phone coverage. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so we've all seen this data share network. We've all seen we've been wanting to share data for quite a while. We finally got it, and we got screwed. But the story I want to talk about is $160 for 4 lines and 10 gigs is from the big carriers. But T-Mobile yesterday, in like a very limited time, you have till September 30th, 4 lines, 10 gigs at 2.5 per line, $100. Not 5 lines for more or 3 lines for less. It's you have to get 4 lines. It's $100. T-Mobile 10 gigs, 2.5 each person. There's no overage on data. They just throttle you to the point that it's unusable. That's the
That's
first order.
I think that is the most important thing, frankly. The no overages, just reduced service speed, but still usable service, no matter what.
Is
Okay.
Edge usable?
No, that is not considered usable. No.
Okay, so it's Edge. It's slightly better than Edge. The second one, staying with T-Mobile, is in that 2.5 gigs you get T-Mobile's music streaming, their choice of streaming services that doesn't count against your cap. And if I'm guessing right, it's iTunes Music, it's or iTunes Radio, it's Spotify and Pandora.
That's
Those
a,
three.
that's enough that they're not picking a favorite. It seems like okay.
They have some sort of voting mechanism that because all the Android people want Google Play Music, but they have not found a way to incorporate new ones yet. Maybe it's a licensing issue, whatever it is. But it screams foul of net neutrality if you're not.
Yes,
But it
T-Mobile.
may not be net neutrality based. It may be a completely different thing. But people say net neutrality, and that's what they're talking about.
T-Mobile is not the Switzerland of the cellular ISPs, certainly.
And then the third one is and I feel terrible for not have even read the headline. But Virgin came through, and they have some sort of pay-as-you-go or what you use plan.
I
So if
believe
you don't want,
it's called the Pop Your Cherry plan.
it's like if you don't use voice minutes, you could just not have voice and just have data. And that also reeks of net neutrality foul. But again, I have not read the article, so I'm hoping that's not the one we choose.
Okay, so Paul, does it seem that Hein has a fetish with his cell phone bill? That he is just he wants it's more than just scrounging for pennies and dollars. He just wants to know at all times. He will switch. He will switch if there is a slight change in service from one carrier to another. He will do it. Is that just me, or you concur?
This is important stuff. I mean, I was deeply troubled when unlimited data went away.
Guess who has unlimited data, by the way?
The FCC is going to rule on whether or not Verizon has the right to slow people down after a certain amount of use of unlimited data. But what is the crux of this time? Because it seems like to me there's one thing that we don't get. $160. Okay.
Look, 15 years ago. Let's look at a different one. 15 years ago, or maybe now 20 years ago, there was no cell phone bill. And then when we went to college 10 years ago, there was a small cell phone bill. A family of four was paying like $100. Now we're up to $200, $300. Everyone has a smartphone. Not everyone needs a smartphone.
That's not how I see it. I think that I was going to say something. I disagree with your numbers. I think that the $160 for 4 lines, sharing 10 gigs of data with unlimited SMSing, unlimited voice is the standard. So that's now $40 a month, and I think that it puts people in a position where they don't. Some people don't even need wired internet in their houses, and that's going to be the next step. And it seems like that's a reasonable price point. Maybe we can shave off $10 or $20 from that. But that is the gold standard now.
No, but that's a lie though. The problem is that it's not really $100 and whatever $40 or $100. You still have to rent the phone. And what people don't understand, an iPhone is $24 a month per line. So what's 24 times 4, 24 times 5 added to your bill?
You're saying including the subsidy or or not including the contract?
Okay.
I don't get it.
Okay, so all these plans that you see, they change their model. So you can still walk into Verizon.
It's assuming bring your own device. I mean,
it's assuming bring your own device. The problem is I don't think people get that yet. It was a sudden change that happened, I think, like overnight. It was like all of a sudden we're going to lower our prices, and then they say, then the fine print, if you sign up for our Edge plan, and then they try to explain to you. So it's one of those. It's not 140. If you want an iPhone, it's significantly more.
I'm on my 5S. My brother is on my old 5. My mother is on my old 4S. My old 4 is still in service a little bit, and there's the 3GS is around somewhere. So at this point, we use for 3 people anyway. We use one upgrade at a time. And now there's no contract, and so what is the total value of the subsidized iPhone 5 at this point and the subsidized iPhone 4S? It's really high. It's now 3 years out, and my mother's using it and is perfectly happy with it. So you can still get around that. The other thing that you talked about, which is I think more important, is the way to deal with overages, which this is T-Mobile is starting this. It makes it so that AT&T can't charge you any more than the $40 per line. They slow your service down, but 10 gigs is still a lot.
Well, Verizon, AT&T say 10 gigs shared. T-Mobile is 2.5 gigs each, and that's it.
That's worse.
I don't know if that's. I'd rather know that I have 2.5 gigs to myself, and no one else can touch it.
Your Rivka is not going to be. And Rivka and Nathan are not going to be using up your gigabyte time. I don't even know why you would care. I mean, you're in a position. It doesn't. All right, where are we out of time? High time, because this is what your story's a little lame here. You're like
we're at 9 minutes.
9. Okay, I think we get it. You want the cheapest cell phone bill.
I want the cheapest cell phone because And I'll just leave people with this. Nobody has the same cell phone bill or the same cable bill. You can't go to your neighbor and you can't find a friend of yours that has the exact same cell phone bill for the same service.
Yeah, cell phone bills are unique like fingerprints and snowflakes. They're magical things. Okay, we're moving on. Thank you, Heim Time. That was okay. Paul, have you got something to excite our listeners a little more than Virgin, T-Mobile, Verizon, etc.?
All right, so we got Instagram releasing their Snapchat competitor called Bolt. It's only released in 3 countries. I believe was that Singapore, South Africa. There's one more.
New Zealand.
It's New Zealand. Okay.
So all English-speaking places.
Yeah, but not the United States. And this comes after Facebook, who owns Instagram, just released another Snapchat competitor called Slingshot, which is not getting much usage as far as I'm aware. I personally used it for a day or so before never using it again.
Paul, do
I
you
use
get
Snapchat every day.
Paul, do you? Oh, you do. Well, you better keep those private. You and Laura. Paul, do you get a warm feeling in your heart that when you sign up for the newest, greatest thing, you see that I'm the only other person you know that's on your friends list?
It's true.
Every time, right?
The problem is Justin is not social. That's the only.
That's true. I register the account. I play around with the GUI because that's what I'm into, and then I know I delete it right away. Slingshot I use with Robbie Grover, who Jaime and I know from high school, who works at Facebook, who was on it. But is this a throw crap at the fan thing, and Facebook's going to see what sticks? Because it is. It's Slingshot, Bolt, and they're both almost direct copies of competitors, and Bolt is in fact using the name of an existing messaging app, right?
Right. I don't know. Slingshot seems like a throw shit at the fan scenario, but I think Bolt's maybe just a play at a foreign audience where they feel like they could actually win some market share.
Okay, so you think this is they went over their numbers and they think that in these markets this is how they get ahead, and it's not a test to eventually bring it out in the US.
I mean, you have these like WhatsApp, these messaging apps that do really well abroad, but not in the United States, and this just feels a little bit too similar to think that wasn't intentional.
So there are people that are a lot more tapped in than all of us are into the world of the ephemeral message. It seems like that concept, though, is really what is taking center stage maybe not center stage, but that is the new battleground, right?
Mm-hmm. The other interesting thing is Instagram has direct messages now, so you could send a picture directly to one of your Instagram people. So this is almost like the third or fourth iteration that Facebook has thrown out with these picture messages.
Do you think that Instagram gives Facebook a chance to try out coolness? Is it like the hipper way of kind of like stretching their muscles?
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. It's they treat the companies separately as far as I'm aware, and Instagram's definitely used by the younger audience more so than Facebook.
I don't know. I would say that they have to be careful with Instagram. Instagram has gained so much popularity that if they start doing their psychological tests on Instagram, I think people would leave. I think that Facebook is where they should try the cool things and integrate it to Instagram if it works. But I think
Facebook isn't cool.
I know, but there's still some cool people on it.
So
I don't know.
Instagram to this day still has no ads, right? I mean, they've
No, there are Instagram ads.
Is it sponsored content, or is it like a full-out advertisement? I mean, I guess there's
it's like a sponsored image.
I guess you're throwing in there. Okay.
Can inThirty be a sponsored image?
We're still
very few advertisers are allowed to use it.
We're still so the content has to be vetted. Hein, we're still waiting on our potential sponsors from the competing podcasters. We won't talk about that any further.
Yes.
So this Bolt thing, I mean, there's going to be a million messaging apps. It's going to take a while for them to shake out. iOS 8 is bringing ephemeral messaging to iMessage. Google's got to do it post-haste, right? It's going to show up, soon enough in Hangouts. I mean, Hangouts can turn off history, but
Oh, that's a whole another episode on whether Google Plus and Hangouts should have advertising in them, because I think Google just wants the information before they start marketing to you.
Okay, so I'm going to then use that as a neat segue into the fact we'll join two tweaks to Hangouts in one. First, I'm very impressed. I've been saying this for a long time. It's one of the it kind of came out of left field way back when Hangouts was released and when we started being able to do the show live via Hangouts. We were very pleased with it, still are. But Google has really upped its game with the video messaging because one, you can tell this kind of backwards, right? It has a service level agreement now for Google Apps customers, and I do a lot of Google Apps, which is cool. That means that they really are standing behind Hangouts as a product. You can now get onto Hangouts without a Google Plus profile, and there is something and for doing full video messaging, if you're on Chrome, it no longer requires a operating system level plugin to be installed, so people can do it without their administrator's help. And that Google's timing on that one is brilliant because I have 150 people that need to be on Hangouts, and I thought I was going to have to do it through Active Directory, and now I don't. So thank you to Google for that, because now...
So now we can broadcast from the Apple Store?
Yes, exactly. That is a good point, actually. Yes, if they have not installed, if they have Chrome, we can put Chrome on. Yeah, that doesn't require the admin password. Yeah, we can do it. So anyway, Google is really into this video messaging thing, and I applaud them at that. I'm just a little nervous for what it means for Google Voice, but it is once you get the service level agreement in Google Apps, that's like a stamp of approval. That they have contracts now, they can't put it away. There's an uptime guarantee. Hangouts is out of beta to me. This is a big deal. It's up there with Gmail and search.
Gmail's still in beta?
I'm nervous about Google Plus.
As far as what? Like they're gonna kill it?
You don't require Google Plus for Hangouts. That was like a huge part of it.
So
they can call you. I mean, you can use you can use your cell phone and be part of it, which is actually a good feature.
Yes, I'm talking about actual Google to Hangout. You don't need it. And Paul, I think Google Plus does exist at the Google Apps level, and it can be used in corporations, but it's messy because they still don't make a big delineation between public Google Plus profiles and the ones that are tailored only to your organization. It's a pain in the neck. But yeah, Google Plus now is faltering as compared to Hangouts. Hangouts is going to be probably the brand name under which all of Google's messaging takes place. I can't. If you watch what Google gives you gives you an SLA for a service level agreement, which I think is what the acronym stands for, it's not much. It's the core stuff only. So the fact that Hangouts might be the product that made its way there quickest, you're going to be able to hang out in glass is what it means, and that means that Android wearable is going to hang out, and you're going to be able to hang out. You're going to hang out on the schoolyard. You can hang out on your Chromebook, wherever you want to do it.
Well, that's fine.
What are some of the other services under the SLA?
It's Gmail has an uptime guarantee, and you can get support for it. It's the stuff you would expect. Calendar,
well, how many times did we start a Hangout and we had to go to Skype because something was wrong?
You know, a meaningful number of times where it's worth talking about. Yeah, so they're working through that. All right, so I threw out that Google update. Can we throw the short story back to you? You got more to talk about than just cell phone plans?
No, I just went straight for the jugular and said, "Here it is."
Okay, so Paul, then the merry-go-round comes back to Paul and the bouncing horse.
Twitter's been doing pretty good, eh? We got I'm Canadian now, apparently. They announced they acquired, what was it, like 16 million new users since last quarter, and their stock went up like 38% after that announcement.
Yes, and Elvis Costello.
And they haven't not even any increase in revenue. It's just a user base.
Those Twitter bots are worth millions and millions of dollars. When it comes down
I do have a story to jump off that. It's a little old, but it is a sort of timely. So Justin, are you on Yo yet?
Of course, I've downloaded Yo.
Okay, I'm not on Yo, but apparently, and I'm happy that I don't live near in Israel, but the IDF is yoing people to get out of when the sirens go off.
Really?
That's amazing.
Is that true?
Yes, I mean it's true, but
The adoption rate of in Gaza and the West Bank for Yo is really high.
no, it's the other way. It's for the Israelis.
Oh, okay. I thought they were yoing people before, like they would do a mortar knock and then yo. Okay, all right. I don't even know how that came out of their hand.
We're talking about Twitter and short messages and startups that are doing well. So I figured let me throw that in there.
So is it Dick? Paul, is it Dick Costello who is the CEO of Twitter?
Costello.
What?
Costello.
Okay, really? I did not know that's how it was pronounced. I thought it was Elvis Costello's cousin or something. He's as bald as Jeff Bezos.
Well, it's not Stefan Jobs. I mean, you gotta be good with the name.
But all of a sudden, yeah, I forget where I was. I was in a diner or something, and CNBC had their talking heads talking about Twitter, like it was this brand new thing, and this all in the shadow of the Federal Reserve saying that social media sites are overvalued. Snapchat thinks it's worth $10 billion. I mean, come on, revenue has got to speak louder than anything else. I don't know. I think Twitter has to expand its features too. I think it's gonna, they're doing a little photo stuff. I think Twitter should have bought Instagram, is how it should have gone down, but. Paul, what's long term for Twitter, like financially speaking? Would you put your nest egg? Would you bet your net? This is kind of a pun, conceptually. Would you put your nest egg in Twitter's hands? Would you let the Twitter bird hatch it?
It's they need to do something different. They're doing a lot with mobile advertising that's really yet to come to fruition yet, but. I don't know. I feel like I have faith in Twitter despite what we've actually seen.
Look, I'm mad that Twitter doesn't have a Windows app, like a native Windows app. I'm mad that Twitter, they're doing good things, but they're not doing enough to make a power user or somebody who wants to use Twitter for other than getting breaking news from CNN. Or from the municipal towns, or from Maria Bartiromo. I just don't care that much.
I think that Facebook is going to eat their lunch in that space, even because now I like the Atlantic a lot. I like the Christian Science Monitor. I like Wired. I like Ars Technica. I like the New Yorker. And where do I get their stories from? I have blocked, not blocked, but I've unfollowed almost every human being on Facebook to the point where it is an RSS feed for 2014. That's what it is. I've unfollowed both of you. I don't know. I mean, I'll talk to you. I go on Facebook and I see news. That's what I see.
Well, you also had the problem that you had 14 or you had like 2,300 friends. You couldn't possibly see all the important details unless some Facebook algorithm showed them to you, and then
isn't that the point of Facebook? That's like Twitter.
That is what Zuckerberg is supposed to do. I'll tell you what I use Twitter for, Paul. This is what I use: complaining. When I want to stick it to a customer service representative, that because it's public, they have to be polite. I have just burned Fitbit, Verizon, FiOS. I started a war between the Nomad people and the Careo people. That is what I use Twitter for. Automatic. Every little piece of technology that I buy.
And I went the other way. I took Facebook down to original thought. If you're sharing a link, I block the source of that link. Not the person, but the source.
What are you talking about? So
if you shared a BuzzFeed link,
yes,
I block BuzzFeed, I block this, I block that, I block all the radio stations.
A lot of original thoughts are adjoinders to a link. I mean, you can write a nice...
No. I have friends that don't have... Well, that's okay. But I have a lot of people that share me the bit strips. I don't consider that original thought. I don't consider The Onion, like, look at this Onion article. It's funny.
All right.
Like, I'll go to The Onion.
All right. Paul, I like the next topic that you put into the chat. I think this is interesting and worth talking about.
We're back to cell phones?
No. Back to Facebook, actually.
What's that?
Separate chat app.
What was it?
The separate chat app for Facebook.
Oh, yeah. So Facebook is ceasing support for Facebook Messenger within the plain Facebook app. and they're requiring everyone to download their separate messenger app in the near future.
Zuckerberg's got some big balls, doesn't he?
Well, that's either going to fail or be hugely successful.
Okay.
That's what he needed to do if he wanted people to really embrace Facebook
I
Messenger.
love Facebook Messenger.
I was never going to download it separately.
Really?
I downloaded it separately. Yeah, I downloaded it separately. I'm like, why did I download this? I already have it in my Facebook app. Why do I need a separate app? I don't use it that frequently.
Paul, but is this about separating the notifications so that they don't kind of get messed together, so that when you get a notification from the Facebook Messenger app, it's not a like, it's not a poke? Is that why they're doing it, or is this like kind of?
I didn't say they're just pushing the messengers. Mobile chat is becoming a huge thing. You look at the success of WhatsApp again, and it's becoming more and more important to people.
But why bifurcate the product line? I mean,
because I wasn't going to use it. I don't use Facebook Messenger if I can help it.
But are you saying that you weren't using the Facebook messaging platform, and now you're going to use the Facebook messaging platform? Or what do they care whether or not you're using the app or within the Facebook app?
I was not using the Facebook messaging app. I was not using the Facebook messaging platform much. I try to avoid using the Messenger platform as much as possible, but I feel like by forcing people to get a separate app as a means, if they do want to get those notifications about messages, that it's going to sort of force people to use it a little bit.
If I were the only one that actually likes Facebook messaging, the app, I like extol its praises. I mean, I think they bought Beluga at South by Southwest. It was the other one to GroupMe, which Paul loves. But
it's through Facebook though. I have no desire to use it because it's who's on it, and it's how people use it.
No, you see, I think that's where I think the disconnect is. So what they're hoping for is that you uninstall Facebook, or if you're not going to use Facebook, you at least use the chat.
But people are still going to be messaging me through Facebook.com, and it's going to go to my Facebook Messenger app. That's kind of annoying.
Is it possible that this is partially kind of how Google broke out the Sheets app and the Docs app from the Drive app so they can update them more frequently or something? Or like, is that part of it?
How big is the Facebook app? You may be right. That I read something on Android that the Facebook app hit some weird esoteric limit that, like on a gingerbread phone, they couldn't go past that. And maybe there's something like that on iOS. There's just so much going on with it that they had to split it off.
But Paul's totally acknowledging that his arm was twisted into downloading this app. I mean, that I look at it like this: when the big guys, when Twitter creates a new app, I download it and check it out, and Facebook the same, and Google, and Apple, and Amazon.
The Twitter Ask a Question app.
I don't know if that's even still around. Twitter Music is gone, right?
No. It's what's it called?
Oh, the one that you and Paul, the one that you and me were on for a little bit. Jelly.
It's awful.
Okay, but what's the point here? So I think the point is that Facebook has big balls. I think that's what this shows. They are just going to kick your ass up and down the iOS App Store. So you want to see what your potential your crush has to say to you on Facebook? Download the Messenger app. I think that's part of what's going on here.
Look, I'll just told, and we're running out of time, that the Facebook Messenger app is really good. Even if you just put your name and a photo and the fact and your sex or something that people can identify you with, and you use it, it's a very, very good platform. But
man, you're missing the point, hon.
You just said sex, hon. I'm going to throw this out there. Chrome 64-bit has gone from the dev and canary builds to the beta build, so we will have 64-bit Chrome, which does show some real benefits over its 32-bit companion.
Can I keep my MacBook Pro for one more year because of that?
You might want to try out Safari in Yosemite for speed.
I need one more year. One more.
You might want to do that. Okay, so this is we've got to be done on time, right?
We have 90 seconds.
All right, so there's my Fitbit Force. I'll see you guys on Twitter because you haven't provided the caller ID notification that you promised. That's right, at Fitbit Support. That's right, at Fitbit. Anyway, this has been a hodgepodge edition of your favorite tech podcast, inThirty. Thanks for listening. Please, we need more negative tweets and YouTube comments to keep the ball rolling. That is what we need. That is the fuel that keeps our fire burning. And we should say, happy birthday. Is it his birthday? To Cyrus Richard Marks, right?
Cyrus Richard Marks. Harry, a podcaster emeritus. He had his son today, so if you want to tweet him, go for it and say congratulations.
Yes. Also, make sure to include at Fitbit Support on all of the messages to Harry about his new son. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Bye,
Good night.
everybody.
All right.